This is Motivational Speaking with Oliver Rowland.
I was actually branding myself as lucky, but this guy can drive anything. God, come on, just have a bad day. But they don't.
Have I dug myself out the hole yet?
I was a bit rude to you. You showed me the grass.
You got to poke the bear.
I wouldn't.
What is it with guests coming on and just rinsing me?
I kind of looked for the checkered flag as if to think, have the team communicated the laps wrong.
There might be something in this.
This is the original one that all the F1 teams then copied.
Saunders CB out. Hashtag.
There's a reason we're sat this far away, Saunders. We didn't want to say it, man.
Get to the line.
He'll be dancing in TikTok videos soon.
Oh, you ruined my day now.
Let's go!
Hello and welcome back to the Added Lap. We're here for another episode of the Formula E show, talking about everything from on and off the track for everything that's happened since the last episode. I'm Saunders CB. Of course, I'm not on my own. I'm joined by Formula E royalty. We've got my partner in crime, the digital presenter, Alexa. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And of course, we've got returning to the show, the voice of motorsport on radio, John. How you doing, mate?
I like that. I was about to say, imagine this show was just you on your own. It'd be a terrible show. But I can't. I feel like I can't say that because you called me the voice of motorsport. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming back. Now, it goes without saying that a lot has happened since the last episode. We've got a lot to get into. Let's just have a little, just quick chat about where we are, because it's been a very exciting championship, hasn't it?
I can't believe that there's 4 races left.
It's gone so quickly. I think that's the power of double header now. I like the fact that heading into these next 2 race weekends, if you have a bad weekend, you could ruin your entire championship. And that's really scary. Like, that's high pressure stakes. I love it when it gets this time of year.
It's spicy. And with that in mind, let's bring in our special guest for today's episode. Someone who is very much in that championship fight. It's Nissan driver, Oliver Rowland. Welcome. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you, guys.
I'll let you get settled. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Let's get straight into it, because it's a good opportunity to have you here and talk about what has been, I keep saying it on camera, the season of your life so far.
Yeah, it's been amazing. To be honest, I think if you look back 12 months ago where I was and coming into this year with the objectives we had, it's been more than we could have ever imagined, to be honest. So, yeah, we're just enjoying it. We're embracing it, enjoying each race, having fun. And yeah, it's been amazing. We could probably have a good chat about everything that's happened so far this season, because it has been very eventful from your side. But just going back to the very start of this season, did you expect to be where you are now? Not at all. I think, before the season, we kind of had objectives, and that was to try and consistently score points, maybe grab 1 podium, maybe a pole if the opportunity presented itself. So, yeah, we were far, far away in terms of where we actually found ourselves in the end.
That's amazing to think that, just because to say that was your target back then, and at this point in the season, you've got 6 podiums, you've had a race win, you've had 2 pole positions, you've ticked everything off and more, and of course, you're in the championship fight.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, like I said, we could never have imagined it, but I mean, huge credit to the team. They've done an amazing job. I think from where Nissan were last year as a base package, they've definitely improved that. I've improved myself. I've managed to, take my experience and improve everything basically, and it's just come out where I would say we're overachieving a little bit, but I think it blends itself perfectly for next year, where we expect to have quite a big performance upgrade. Considering
looking at the Porsche powered and the Jaguar powered last season, it's hard to think anybody else could be competitive after that run of the second half of last season. But you came in with half a season away and you hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, probably knowing the performance gain that the other guys had and where they'd kind of had that extra experience, it probably put a bit of fire in our bellies to work really hard and know that we had to be perfect if we wanted to challenge them.
At any stage, did you doubt your own ability?
No, never. I doubted my commitment and my work ethic towards what I was doing, because I'd started to lose, as I said, that motivation a little bit. But I never doubted my ability. I knew, given the right headspace and the right car, that I can be as fast and as good as anyone.
Looking at this season, because it's been, let's go through it kind of race by race, or at least let's start with Diriyah, the second event of the week of the season, and you get your first podium. And not just that, from a pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually the first 2 races were quite difficult, and we'd gone in a setup direction that they weren't really so sure about. And after the first race in Diriyah on, I think it was Saturday night or Friday night, the team said, right, scrap that, we're going back to last year's setup. So we went back to last year's setup, and I went back to the hotel that night thinking, please, please be as good as what they showed at some points last year. And then we turned up in the morning, We were the fastest on track in FP3. We did a pole and we did the podium. I was a little bit disappointed not to win because passing wasn't a premium there.
Yeah.
But I got a slightly bad start, and then we didn't do the perfect attack mode scenario. But that was the, you know, when I said about believing in myself, after 2 races, I started to wonder, like, is it me? You know, and then when I did that day, that was like, yes, like that's why I did what I did, you know, and that was the first kind of start for the season.
I mean, it was a start of a run of podiums, including that one in Tokyo, home race for Nissan.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't write that one, you know. Going there, I wasn't so optimistic because I knew our workload during the week in terms of marketing, media, the amount of pressure, the sort of CEO was there, all the other big dogs, let's say, within Nissan were there, and there was an awful lot of pressure. But I knew it was quite a tight, twisty technical track that could probably suit me. And yeah, we managed to perform. Again, with the jet lag and the pressure, I wasn't sleeping particularly well. But yeah, we managed to get the job done, and that was kind of a fairy tale. And I think that cemented myself within Nissan at that race. You know, I think they all sort of... because it was a bit of a bold move for Tommaso to take me as well, but I think there it was like, yes, you know, we made the right choice here and look, sort of thing.
And then looking ahead to the next race after Tokyo, this is what we do on this show. We set you up and we decorate you as a great story, and then we talk about a negative moment. But Misano was a tale of two halves, right? Because, you know, on the Saturday, it was a really good climb into a podium position that then became a win after the Costa disqualification. But then Sunday, you led for a decent amount. Ultimately, it didn't work out too well. We've got a clip just to remind ourselves of that last lap.
Thanks.
Not that you need reminding.
So talk us through this, because this is that's the move.
So basically, I had a target on my dash that I knew that I could lead and win the race with. So that's why I took the lead back. Unfortunately, what I had on my dash wasn't right, so I was following a target for the wrong amount of laps. Yeah, I mean, I only realised going on to that last lap, I had a page come up that usually only comes up in the last corner as I cross the start and finish line, and I kind of looked for the checkered flag as if to think, have the team communicated the laps wrong, but it wasn't the case.
In terms of, I don't want to use the word blame, but in terms of accountability for that, is it like a technical gremlin or is it a team mistake? Or
so basically, you're looking at the start there. What happens is when you do the start, you cross the finish line, and the car should ignore that as a lap because it's not a lap. So it should be programmed to say, okay, I've crossed the finish line, but I shouldn't count a lap. Whereas because something that happened on the grid wasn't reset in terms of, I don't know exactly how it works, but it wasn't reset. So as I crossed the line, the lap counted down straight away. So I was always on one less lap than anyone else.
From the start?
From the very beginning.
Oh.
And I guess when you're driving on the first lap, there's so much to focus on, you wouldn't notice that it already said one because, you know, you're
so I
fighting for
think
position.
In these races, you save so much energy in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're not really looking at your targets and your sort of delta compared to what you've done. You're kind of just going with the flow of the race and managing your own positions. And I remember looking down after 5 laps and I thought, I've done well here. You know, my target's higher than I thought it would be. So then that was my point in the race, which I said, right now I'm going to move towards the front. So I got in the top 5, and then you kind of jostle a little bit, try and save the energy in the top 5. And then when I saw the target ready to go, I went. And then Pascal got me back. I topped up the target a little bit, and then I went again. But I think the most disappointing thing is, even if you look at the energies before I took the lead, I had almost the best energy in the top 5 anyway, which means that I would have been in it to win it had it not been the wrong laps, which hurts a bit, but it's one of those things.
But then at least you had the points from Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, max points from Saturday to help kind of counter that.
I'm just thinking of you in the pub. I know you mentioned it, as I could say it, on the Monday, and someone saying, how's your weekend? You've won a race, but you didn't celebrate. And then you were winning a race, but you couldn't celebrate because you didn't finish.
Well, that's the thing with these
But it
double
wasn't a
headers though as
negative, not necessarily a negative weekend.
But honestly, I left this weekend super happy because this was going to be our Achilles heel, and it was amazing. So regardless of the result, I was just buoyed by the fact that the car was competitive and the team did a great job. And for me, it was like, it's one of those things, it happens in motorsport. And I think in any other season where we would have a package that would be a bit closer to the top guys, I don't think it would matter as much. But if we really wanted to sustain the whole season, I think this is the day that mattered. Because if I'd have took 18 points from that now, the picture looks slightly different right now, and you're still right there to put the pressure on Nick.
This season is just another level of competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you look, I think, at the top 5-6 guys, they're able to be there every week, you know, especially even with these difficult races where it's easy to get in trouble, it's easy to lose your wing, it's easy to have something going on, but the top 5 guys are always there. You know, you kind of wonder to yourself sometimes, God, come on, just have a bad day.
Yeah.
But they don't. But that's great, though. I like that about Formula E, because you can't have an off day either, and that almost puts the pressure on you to be in that frame of mind.
Well, let's talk about what followed this then. So Misano, you said there, was the first of the real kind of energy-sensitive races. A lot of changing of the pack, changing of the order. Monaco was Monaco, always great in Formula E. But then Berlin was very much like that as well. And you had double podium both days from P15 and P16. I mean, if you told anybody who watches other motorsports, but potentially not Formula E, they would just go, what? But yet, there you are.
Yeah, again, I think finishing some of these races, I sometimes think, how did I do that? You know? I was actually branding myself as lucky at some point. I was saying to the team, guys, like, let's keep our feet on the ground. I'm a bit lucky here. And they kept saying it, and they're like, are you sure it's luck? And then at some point I then started to think, well, I must be judging it quite well as well, and racing in the right ways and pushing at the right points. But yeah, I mean, what we managed to do in Berlin was pretty cool, to be honest. It's a track that we expected to struggle a lot at as a team, because they were very poor there last year. You saw our qualifying was nowhere. But to then still string 2 podiums was like a victory for us. It was like a double win.
But I do think it feels like that aggressiveness with everybody in the grid is actually now becoming off track as well. And Formula E has traditionally been a very like happy place. You'll go battling in the race, and then you'll go for dinner in the evenings.
Everyone's
I know
besties.
That's still the case. I know it's a very friendly championship, but it does feel like it's becoming a little bit, you know, there's tension off track as well now.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think particularly after the last race, you know, Jeff wasn't particularly happy with what happened during the first race, and I wasn't particularly happy with some of the things that he did. I mean, sometimes the way I look at it, like, if you give it out, you've got to be able to take it. And I'm like that. Like, if someone gives it to me, you might get it back, but then it's equals. I think there was a situation in Shanghai with Robin where, like, I was a bit overly aggressive in turn 7, and then he just shoved me on the grass at the last corner. And for me, that's like, the stewarding's done. You know, I was a bit rude to you. You showed me the grass and gave me a bit more. That's done. But I think some of what we see now is people who've maybe not been as successful at this type of racing start to complain about it because it doesn't suit them, and put a bit of a negative side on it. For me, it's very straightforward. Like, the way I'm racing, if someone dishes that out back to me, I have no problem with it. So yeah, I mean, of course there's some things that go over the top, and it's difficult to manage your emotions in some of these situations as well. So I think as drivers, sometimes you'll go over the top, and that's where the stewards need to be there to kind of rein you in a little bit. But yeah, for me, it's there's definitely that friction, and honestly, finishing the race and going to the media pen afterwards is not the nicest thing, especially for me, because there's usually a few people that don't want to look at me. But it is what it is. I'm doing the best for me, and that's all I can do.
I really wanted to get your perspective on this season, because the style of racing just definitely changed. But it goes without saying, I'm sure you guys will agree, it's entertaining. Like, it's so entertaining to watch. And when the energies become so tight like it has, you might only have one opportunity to make a move, because if you've got to try 2 or 3 times, you're using the energy that's going to potentially stop you from winning the race. So those big moves, they look so good to watch, don't they?
Actually, speaking of entertaining, I feel like we did you a disservice brushing over São Paulo so quickly. That was like one of my favourite race finishes of the year. Like, how that must have been so much fun inside the car as well.
It was mega, yeah. To be honest, I was smiling to myself on the last lap, happy with 5th. I was going around thinking, what, I've come from the back, I'm in 5th, just done. Because we had a lot of derating from the battery on that last lap, so I was literally just thinking, get to the line. And then I knew the 2 that were in front, right? They're not the best of friends, let's say. And I saw them getting a bit argy-bargy, and I think it was turn 8 and 9, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get close and see if I could pick anything up. And yeah, it was mega. You know, that was probably the biggest buzz that I've had when I crossed the line, because it was like, it was totally unexpected, and it was like in that short moment of 2 seconds from the last corner to the line, there was just this huge outburst of like emotion from the team, from me, and that's what I missed. That, you know, that was mega.
I mean, also, I think if you are a driver following the likes of Dennis and Verline, you must be thinking, there might be something in this.
I think I only realised on the last lap that it was them 2, and when I saw they were going side by side, I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking, these 2 are not giving each other a podium for free, you know. So yeah, I was there to get close and see what I could pick up.
let's move forward to our most recent race then, Shanghai, a new circuit for Formula E again, another 2 great races, very energy sensitive, very interesting races. But before any racing took place, something from the Nissan team. Talk to me about this perfume. Was it smell my dust?
I've actually got your present.
Oh, mate.
No.
So this,
I haven't actually smelled it, have you?
I'm very excited to give this a whiff.
I've been warned. I haven't
You've been
smelled it. I
warned.
haven't. Yeah.
well, I was a bit
you've
worried
had.
about the way Saunders was smelling on the track walk in Shanghai, so I thought this is the perfect gift.
What was it with guests coming on and just rinsing me?
Hang on a minute. Sorry. Was he pongy?
I've tried to tend not to think I wasn't.
A bit.
What's your excuse? He's always got an excuse. Last time he asked Jake Dennis a question that was wrong, and it was someone else had written that. I wasn't me.
Well, that was legit.
You've always got excuses. Come on.
I hope I didn't smell because it's the first thing in the morning.
Imagine.
It is.
how
There's a
bad
reason
you
we're
smell
sat this far away.
I would
So
not
we
wanna
didn't
get-
want to say it,
This
man.
is not becoming a thing.
Get too close.
Can we
to
change his
the
name
evening.
to Saunders BO?
This is for you guys.
Smell My Dust, an exclusive fragrance from the Nissan Formula E Team. Now, we'd heard a lot about this, but the crucial thing is, how does it smell?
I think someone told me, was it meant to be cherry blossom with a hint of brake
Ooh.
dust? Or something like that.
I actually got brake dust in it.
Can you get a scent of
I'm
rain?
going to give it a spray,
No.
just an ambient
Saunders.
spray.
It's
Spritz.
not that bad actually.
It's not going to be
quite
on anyone
okay.
in particular, just in the air, just in case
So
it is.
glad I'm far away from this.
It's
All
not
right,
bad,
Alexa,
is
what's
it?
your review? It's not instantly good.
No, actually, you know what?
It's
kind
not
of
too
growing
bad,
on
is
me.
it?
I am getting the hint of
Yeah.
dust.
There's a fruitiness to it, for sure.
You know what? It would make a lovely air freshener.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Nissan garage should now smell of
And
when we
from
walk
now
in.
on, this podcast is going to be the best smelling podcast now.
Yeah, I mean, that's if it lingers
Aw.
as much as we've been
So
told.
we can put it
Yeah.
in like Jake's suit, a pocket in here somewhere, and then it will always smell like Smell My Dust.
I'm going to put this up
I'm
here.
not sure
'cause
my
it-
gift's quite as good as his one, to be honest.
Well, you know, debatable. Let's
Well, at
just
least
put it
yours
up
was
there.
on time.
Hey.
Yeah, Jake forgot that.
I saw.
Yeah.
It's like a month to arrive.
So from perfume in Shanghai and cooking in Tokyo, there's a clip I want to talk about. And I don't know if you've even seen this clip because
No.
this wasn't official. This was filmed by Sophie from the Formula E digital team of a sushi making class where you get to try probably more wasabi than you've ever had in your life. Let's have a look. Had you had wasabi before this?
I
point?
had, yeah.
Sasha hacks it like a pro. No dramas.
Sasha will eat anything. Literally.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh wait, hang on.
We've all been there. You know, it gets in your nose.
It's your
Oh,
eyes
look
for
how
me.
much I had. But he took it so well. I don't know if I got screwed over a bit there. Why did you do that to me?
But now is the time for the perfect segue to go between cooking sushi in Japan to the Let 'Em Cook reels on the Nissan and the Nismo Instagram because they are so good. And we wanted to play a little game with you. We want to show you 5 of them.
Give them a ranking,
You rank
Do
them.
I get to see
but
them
you
all
can't go
before?
back and change
No,
it.
you rank them after each one. So you could say that's the best one, and then you can't use the best one anymore. You've only got to use
Okay,
second, third,
so it's
fourth,
like a
fifth.
blind, blind
I could have
race.
said that.
Yeah.
Blind ranking.
I
That's
saw
exactly
something
what
like
it's
this
called.
the other day. That I think is it Harry Maguire rating English footballers?
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
And he did it in order, and then he ended up with a really good one at the end, and he was
Yeah.
a bit like, oh, it has to go fourth.
Okay, so you know the format. So you're gonna blind rank
Okay.
the Let 'Em Cook reels because they are phenomenal. Shout out to Mickey as well because they are great.
Yeah.
Let's go to the first one.
Now, let him cook. I said
Yes. They're good.
I'm
How
gonna-
good is that one?
They're all good. I mean, what Mickey does is incredible. I'm gonna go for number 4 on that.
Okay, so 4's gone. Let's look at the next one.
let him cook. I said let him cook.
Oh yes. That's got to be high. That's a strong contender.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other ones are
But the
coming.
cards
But
and
there's
everything.
so many good ones.
I think that's probably my favourite. Like with the cards,
Really?
it's so sick.
No, I think the Dirio one's my favourite.
Well, we don't know if that's in the list yet. You
I'm
play
gonna go
that
3
risk.
for that one.
3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
It's 3rd and 4th. Done.
Oh, this one is a good one. This is the original one that all the F1 teams then copied.
So
right?
many people have done it now.
This
yeah.
is in the top 2.
And
for
they say
sure.
that imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah.
I think that has to be number 1.
Trendsetter.
Just
Ooh.
because it was original. And when
Okay.
it happened, like, it was like... That
Did
was,
Did it take any convincing from Mickey to kind of get you to do the moves required for the transitions? Because some of them are a bit weird, right? You have to do these weird
Honestly,
actions.
All the ones that I've done of these Let Him Cooks are just with his phone,
Yeah.
and it takes like 30 seconds. Like,
so it's a media dream.
Honestly, like before I came to Nissan, in terms of PR stuff and all this type of stuff, I wasn't very interested in it.
Okay.
And it was just a job. Like I was like, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it. And honestly, since I've come here and I see the amount of traction that everything gains and what they do, I'm like, I'm into it more now. Like I'm much more interested in getting it out there and done, because the end result is just so good.
He'll be dancing in TikTok videos soon.
Yeah.
Finally.
Set up your own TikTok scene.
No, that's
That's gotta happen.
So you've used 1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4.
So you've got
yeah.
2 and 5 left. 2
Ooh.
clips
The
remaining.
problem is the fifth one is always a bad one to leave, right?
Well, it has to be one of these two.
Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Oh, that's a great one. Is that 2nd or 5th? How can you possibly give that one 5th?
The problem is that it's not fifth. But you've convinced me.
No.
You were telling me to put number 3, number 1.
Not be 5th.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
5th.
I don't think it can be 5th. I'm with you.
That can have to go 2nd then.
Okay, 2nd, final one, coming in at 5th
Oh,
position.
it's not the one I thought it was going to
Oh
be.
no.
That is cool.
Because that one doesn't just take the creativity, it takes the, I guess, the target, the aspiration, the ambition
Yeah,
that
the
you're going to be on the
passion,
podium.
yeah,
Wouldn't
yeah.
work if you weren't on there.
Yeah.
It's almost a memory as well, right? So it's a memory of doing well, but yeah. I guess that one goes 5th.
I've got a good get out for you. Doesn't feature Sasha, so that's probably why it should be 5th, because you're a
Yeah.
team player.
Exactly. That's why I put him up there in 2nd.
Yeah, got you.
Aw.
Excellent. Well, there we go. You've ranked them. They're all good. It's hard to rank them, but they're all
They're
very
all amazing.
good.
I mean, if you look at our traction and following and how they do on social media, I think, yeah, it's all credit to the big team, let's say, behind it all. You know, it's not just one person, it's,
Yeah.
you know, all the people and hard work behind the scenes. So yeah, it's cool.
We look forward to seeing what the next two are for the next 2 events, Portland and London.
Yeah.
We would love to talk to you about some of your activities off track, because you've mentioned it a few times already in this chat about your role within the karting world and kind of what you're doing to help younger aspirational drivers get into karting. Can you give us a bit of like a rundown of what that side of your life looks like?
Yes, I mean, it's tough because right now we're in a very busy period of the season, so it's hard for me to be super involved hands-on, let's say, at the track. But about 6 years ago when I was doing F2, I started up a karting team. I had an opportunity to work with a young driver who's now in Formula 3, and we set up a team based around him. It was something that I kind of always wanted to do, to give something back. And at the time, it was also a plan B, right? I didn't know if I was going to... I was doing Formula 2. I was scrimping and saving to live and just like normal stuff. I had zero money. And then I said to myself, I think at the start of 2017, I said, okay, this is my last year of trying to be a professional. And I knew that. So I said, you know, let's not leave it too long before we get to December and you decide, okay, don't have a drive, don't have a job. So we set up this team whilst I was sort of fighting for the F2 championship. And yeah, it's grown from strength to strength. We've won British championships, European championships, world championships. It's something that I'm super passionate about. I enjoy the technical side. I enjoy giving stuff back to the kids. And yeah, it's just great. You know, like I'm on an off weekend like this weekend and I'm just watching the live timing, watching the YouTube live, all that sort of stuff. And it's, yeah, it's just cool. You know, it's an extra element of competitiveness. You know, we race, 10, 11 weekends a year, and these guys race every weekend. So I'm constantly watching them, almost getting that competitive edge. If it doesn't go very well, we're on the phone on Monday morning, what can we do better? If it does go well, it's like, yeah, great job guys, and all that sort of stuff. And it's luckily now it's kind of it's sort of shaped itself into something that I don't have to be as hands-on with, and it's all ran very well behind the scenes.
Okay.
And then I just kind of give my inputs, advise them on where it would be. Obviously take the difficult phone calls from the parents when they're complaining that it's not good enough, but yeah, it's something that I really enjoy, actually.
Future team principal, given that you're enjoying, maybe not the awkward conversations, but you're enjoying leading things.
Yeah, it's something that I would be really interested in. I think when I was with Dams in F2, they were like, you're going to be a team principal. You could almost take this over if you want. It was just like that sort of, you know, like I can sit down with Tommaso and Dorian and have a conversation about what they're trying to achieve and have and relatively like kind of bounce that off each other in terms of ideas as well. So it's something that I am really interested in, how to motivate people, how to get the best out of people. And, you know, it's not just the kids in the team. That's, you know, the staff that we work around, and I'm constantly learning every day as well. So I think it's definitely something that I would be interested in. There's also like management of young drivers and stuff like that, something that I already do. I think it depends where things take me, and in terms of what opportunities are going to be available when my career's done. But it's definitely something that I would like to do.
Oh, look forward to seeing that. Now we've come to the point of the show, the quiz. This is where you get to earn your stripes and become part of this board, this exclusive board that currently just has Jake Dennis on it. There's a series of questions we're going to ask you. Essentially how it works is you have 2 minutes to answer as many as you can and get as many right as you can. The score, of course, will then get put on this board. 5 is a pretty low benchmark. I won't lie to you. I think you could probably do better than that. Because there's a lot.
Can I pass on questions?
You can pass. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking time with Jake Dennis, which probably cost him.
I know all about that.
Yeah. So, John, you're going to help out with the time.
I've got the magical horn. This has been in storage.
Where did that come from?
Well, you probably don't want to know. But I've kept good care of this. I've made sure I've polished it as much as possible, so it looks great on the cameras. I will be. I don't know what, deploying the horn, I guess. I will be deploying the horn when the 2-minute counter has counted down, just so you know, so there's no surprises.
And the questions, what are they like?
They're all about you. They're all about
me.
Your career in Formula E.
Oh,
yeah. John, you keep an eye on the time. Oliver, don't worry about that. Eyes on me. I've got the questions. Don't distract yourself with time. It's purely a concept, a construct. This is where the points are at, right here on the iPad. Okay. Are we ready to start the timer? Let's go in 3, 2, 1, begin. Question 1. Where did you start and finish your Formula E debut in Punta del Este? Which positions?
Started 19th, finished 13th.
We'll give you half a point because you started 16th, finished 13th. Where did you get your first Formula E win?
Berlin.
Correct. You have the highest percentage of wins in duels in qualifying. Can you tell us what that percentage is?
58%.
Close, 65%. You sold yourself short there. Which race did you score your first Formula E points?
Diriyah, season 5.
Correct. How many podium places have you held in your Formula E career so far?
10.
12. You sold yourself short again.
I knew that.
How many laps have you raced in Formula E? I'm going to give you to the closest 100.
1,400.
2,358.
Oh,
Almost
wow.
1,000 now.
Right.
At which Formula E location have you had the most podiums?
Berlin.
Berlin. God, be specific.
Tempelhof.
There we go. Specifics. How many race starts have you had in Formula E?
82.
Not quite. 76. Okay. Are we keeping an eye on the scores here? Because we're going through quick, thick and fast. Name your 3 fastest lap locations.
Berlin, Tempelhof, Misano.
Misano is one. Berlin isn't, allegedly. You might have got it, but you got to finish in the top 10 to keep it, haven't you?
Pass.
So you got Misano, but what you didn't get, Santiago and Puebla. First race you led your first racing lap in Formula E.
China, Sanya, season 5.
Hong Kong. Before that,
no,
I think
it
you
was
led.
after.
All you got to do is lead a lap. You haven't got to finish that way. Hey, there we go. Time's up.
That's loud.
That's good enough.
How are we doing for scores? I know there was a half point in there. 4.5. No way.
Whoa.
I thought you did better than that.
They were pretty tough.
Yeah, but they are about you.
They are about you.
Yeah, but come on, like.
I don't know if it's actually a bad thing to get more points because it just means you're completely self-involved. But maybe it's a good thing to have the nice low score.
You know what? This is actually more competitive than I thought.
We're going to have
it
to
was.
rename this game Beat Jake Dennis.
Beat Jake Dennis. He's
I'm
going
so
to be
disappointed
buzzing
with that.
about that, you know. He's going to love that. Right. Right, let's get that on the board.
I thought his name might be too long.
Comfortably in second place out of 2 currently. There'll be more, don't worry. Jake Dennis on 5, Oliver Rowland on 4.5.
Do you ask the same questions for everyone?
Similar, basically,
vibe.
same sort of vibe, yeah. Now, we have the final part of the show, the spinning of the added lap wheel. This is a big moment because now those that watched the last episode, they saw Jake Dennis would have landed on the one that was prank your teammate, and this is how it panned out.
So as I was on the first ever episode on the added lap, we got prank your teammate on Spin the Wheel, and what we've done is Norman's team dinner tonight. It's what we always do on our home events, and yeah, we're going to prank him, pretend that it's his birthday, and send him a cake and see how he gets on. Something which I always do with like my friends' meals and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to prank him, get a free cake out of it, and yeah, get some more food.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Happy birthday to Norman. Happy birthday to you.
So that was Jake Dennis. Now it's your turn. Oliver, can you give us do the honours and spin the wheel? Can everyone see that?
Tension.
Oh, it went backwards. It's going backwards. Right, I'm going to stop it there.
Oh no, what did I say?
It says
you said this
pit
before.
lane press ups.
Oh, that is not for me.
That was the one you said you didn't want of all of them.
Has this got to be in the background of a broadcast? It's got to be like Nicky's got to be on screen and
Pre-session.
Basically, it needs to be as embarrassing as possible. So when there's the most amount of media attention, you just got to be in the back of everyone's shots.
Oh, so I've got to get in someone else's shot.
Yeah, it needs to be
100%.
recorded. Either we record it or someone else records
Just
it.
one press up.
But it has to be like, why is Oliver doing press ups in the pit lane?
Yeah.
I'm the last person that would do press ups in the pit lane as well.
I'm seeing like post
Okay.
FP1, they're having a conversation, and suddenly you walk out behind the shop, drop a press up, and then straight back in as if nothing happened.
I'm looking forward to seeing this one fan out.
I
It's
need
going to
to
be
think
good.
about this one, but yeah.
Now, just before we let you go, Oliver, a quick look at the next few weekends ahead, because we've got Portland fast approaching, London even going to be fast approaching after that. This is big. This is a big couple of weekends for you. You know, you're in the championship fight. What is it going to take to finish the season at the top step?
Well, it's going to take a little bit of luck, but honestly, I think we went away from Shanghai. We were back good again in qualifying. Didn't execute the second race perfectly well on my side. So I think just putting everything together and making sure we're solid. I think I'm working extremely hard out of the car to try and make sure I'm in better shape for Portland, physically, mentally, everything. And yeah, just about putting everything together and kind of staying relaxed and hoping that the other guys maybe trip over themselves, focusing on each other, I guess. But yeah, like I said, not much pressure for us. We're going to go to Portland, enjoy it, see if we can pull off some great results. Nissan was super strong there last year.
Yep.
London, I love London as a track. I think I can be very fast there in myself. So yeah, who knows? Let's see what can happen.
Theory, right? Last lap of London, Jake Dennis and Pascal Verlaine are ahead of you. No, not last lap. There's 3 laps to go in London. You see them ahead. You need to win the race. Are you pushing or are you just waiting?
I'll be relying on Jake, maybe.
Right.
I think if there's a gap, I'm in it. It's predominantly quite tough to overtake there, but yeah, I think there'd be a high chance that them two would get into each other as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, we're very much looking forward to seeing how the last few events pan out, mate. See you in Portland. Thanks very much for joining the Added Lab.
Thank you very
Oliver
much.
Rowland,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Woo!